Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aulia and I'm an English education student at UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. At this occasion, I would like to recommend you to a book that really interesting and also really benefiting for us as an English education student and for us in the future as a teacher. So, this book is called Test-Based Language Teaching by David Nunan. It's a reference book that was published on 2004 and has 222 pages in total. Test-Based Language Teaching, a book is a comprehensive guide designed for teachers, teacher trainers, and curriculum developers who want to implement a practical, communicative approach to language teaching. The book introduces the concept of a task as a central language learning, distinguishing between real-world tasks using language outside the classroom and pedagogical tasks, which is a classroom activities. This book provides a clear framework for designing, sequencing, and integrating tasks into lesson, emphasizing authentic communication, learner engagement, and the connection between classroom activities and real-life language use. So, this book also is grounded in research, explores the roles of form-focused instruction, addresses assessment challenges specific to test-based teaching, and offers strategies for teachers' development. With a practical example, step-by-step guidance, and a strong theoretical foundation, this book equips educators to create a meaningful, interactive, and also effective language learning experiences for the students. So this book has 9 chapters in total, including the introduction. The introduction outlines the evolution and growing importance of test-based language teaching, or TBLT, in language education, particularly as English becomes a global language. This chapter describes how TBLT has shifted from a marginal idea to a central concept, influencing both policies and practice in various countries. The introduction also previews the book's structure, emphasizing its focus on practical classroom application and teacher development. The first chapter, What is Test-Based Language Teaching, defines the concept of task in language teaching, explains its distinction from traditional exercises, and situates task-based language teaching, or TBLT, within a broader curricula and communicative approaches. The second chapter, A Framework for Test-Based Language Teaching, presents a practical framework in implementing TBLT, outlining key elements such as syllabus design, lesson planning, and the principles that underpin effective test-based instruction. The third chapter, Task Components, breaks down the essential components of task goals, input, and also procedures, while also discussing task types, teacher-learners roles, and classroom settings. The fourth chapter, An Empirical Basis for Text-Based Language Teaching, summarizes research supporting TBLT, focusing on psycholinguistic models, instruction, and test difficulty. Also explains how these findings inform test design and sequencing. The fifth chapter, Focus on Form in Task-Based Language Teaching, explores the debate about integrating form-focused instruction within TBLT, distinguishing between focused and unfocused tasks, and offering strategies for balancing form and meaning in communicative classroom. The sixth chapter, Grading, Sequencing, and Interrogating Tasks, addresses how to grade and sequence tasks for optimal learning progression and discusses ways to integrate tasks into a broader instructional units like theme-based or project-based learning. The seventh chapter, Assessing Task-Based Language Teaching, examines assessment challenges in TBLT, covering key concepts, proposes self-assessment, and practical techniques for evaluating learners' performance within a text-based framework. And the last chapter, chapter 8, Task and Teacher Development, provides guidance for teacher on constructing, evaluating, and adapting tasks, and also offers suggestions for professional development and in-service training in TBLT. So it's an interesting book, isn't it? And how about the strength of the book? So the first is Task-Based Language Teaching book offers a true and accessible framework for understanding and implementing task-based language teaching. It defines key concepts such as task, situated TBLT within a broader curricular and communicative language teaching context, and provides step-by-step guidance on syllabus design, lesson planning, and material development. This comprehensive approach makes the book highly practical for teachers, curriculum developers, and teacher trainers seeking to apply TBLT principles in a real classroom. The second, this book stands out for its strong empirical foundation. The book summarizes relevant research, including psycholinguistic models and studies on interaction and task difficulty, and clearly demonstrates how these findings inform best practices in task design, grading, and sequencing. By bridging the gap between research and classroom application, the book helps educators to make evidence-based decisions about task selection and implementation. And the third is a focus on teacher adaptability. This book is also a notable strength in the book emphasized on teachers' development. It provides practical strategies for teachers to construct, evaluate, and adapt tasks for diverse learning contexts. That's strength from the book. So how about the weaknesses? So the first is the book has limited coverage of implementation challenges. So while the book provides a strong theoretical and a practical foundation, it does not deeply address the significant challenges teachers may face when implementing TBLT in diverse real-world classroom settings, such as large class sizes, limited resources, or rigid instructional curricula. This can leave some educators without enough guidance for adapting TBLT to less than ideal teaching environment. So the second is the book is also insufficient focus on assessment practices. Although assessment is discussed in this book, the book's treatment of evaluating student performance in task-based framework is relatively brief and sometimes lacks a concert, a detailed example of assessment tools or rubrics. Teachers seeking in-depth practical model for TBLT assessment may find this aspect underdeveloped. And for the last is this book has a limited attention to learners' diversity and inclusion. The book tends to present tasks and samples that assume as a relatively homogeneous group of learners. There is a limited discussion of how adapt task-based approaches for students with language uh, varying language backgrounds, learning needs or abilities, which is increasing important in today's diverse classroom. Besides all of this, I highly recommended this book for both English education student and also an English teacher. For an English education student, it can build a strong theoretical foundation for them. The book explains the key principles and theories behind test-based language teaching, and that can help the student understand one of the most influential approaches in modern language education. And also, this book also connects theory to practice that bridges the gap between academic concept and real classroom application, showing how to turn theory into practical lesson plan and activities. It also develop a critical thinking about the curriculum by exploring various syllabus design and the role of text and language learning. Uh, the book encourages the student to think critically about how language curricula are constructed and why certain methods are effective. For the teachers, it provides the practical classroom strategies by offering step-by-step guidance on designing, sequencing, and assessing tasks, making it a valuable resource for planning engaging and communicative lessons. It also support the professional growth and adaptability. That includes strategies for reflecting on the teacher way of teaching, evaluating and adapting tasks, and staying current with new developments in language teaching, supporting the teacher's ongoing professional development. As we've been seeing, task-based language teaching isn't just a book, it's a practical guide and inspirational for teachers and future educators who want to make a real difference in their classroom. So, this book gives you the tools, strategies, and confidence to create a meaningful, engaging lesson that prepares students for real-world communication. So, if you're ready to take your teaching to the next level and empower your students to truly use English, make test-based language teaching your next rate. So, thank you for your attention. I hope you will consider this book as one of your resource for your teaching. So, see you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.